The first frame is going to be for a certificate that's 8.5 by 11. So if it's going to have a 1-inch mat, and the width of the frame is going to be 3/4 of an inch. So you got to add 1.5 inches to each dimension for that, plus the 1 inch, 2 inches for each dimension for the mat. So for that size certificate, rough cuts are going to be, I'm going to need 2 pieces 12.5 inches and 2 pieces 15 inches. Out of this black walnut. For the other one, it's a certificate that's 11 by 14. Again, extra 2 inches for the 1-inch mat for each dimension, plus the 3/4 of an inch for the width of the frame itself. So I'm going to need 2 15-inch rough cuts and 2 18-inch rough cuts. And I'm going to get both out of these 2 pieces of black walnut. The way I want to do the rabbets, to cut the rabbets, is to just cut the rabbets on the outside edges of each of these 2 pieces, so that then all I'll need to do is rip 3/4 of an inch strips from each, and they'll be the right width, and they'll already be rabbeted. So that's the plan. Okay, in this part of my basement workshop, I keep all of my movable machines, like my Grizzly sander and my Raycon bandsaw, the Wahuda jointer, and my DeWalt planer. They're all on wheels. So when I need to use my router, which is over here, which is not on wheels, I have to move all those others out of the way. But that leaves a clear path to run any length of wood through the router that I need to. I ran this through twice to get a rabbet this deep. It's kind of narrow, but the width of the frame is only going to be 3/4 of an inch, so I thought I could get that. I could go a little tight there. Should be fine. Okay, what I've made here are 2 blanks out of foam core. This is the outside dimension, 10.5 by 13, for the 8.5 by 11 certificate. That'll give about 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches mat size with a 1/4 inch overlap on the certificate itself for this one. For the 11 by 14, which I've roughly laid out here, the outside dimension of the mat will be 13 by 16, again with 1.25 inch mat and a 1/4 inch overlap on the 11 by 14 itself behind the window. So what I'm able to do here is use this blank as my measuring tool to mark out the 45-degree angle cuts that I'm going to make on my miter saw sled, on my table saw miter sled. This is also the size, hopefully, that they cut the glass to fit. Actually, I'm going to have them cut it just slightly less than that, maybe 1/8 of an inch less each dimension, to make sure that the glass will fit comfortably and still stay behind the lip. So that's the plan for today. Like I always do whenever I'm making a frame, I like to assign letters to each corner. So this is going to be the A corner, and this is the back, which I can sand off. So this is A to A, and over here is B to B. Over here will be C to C, and here will be D to D. This way, whenever I cut my miters, 1D will be on one side of the miter sled, and the other D will be on the other side, so that guaranteed, if one is a little off, the other side makes up for it. Will create a perfect 90-degree, 45 to 45. Works every time. Thank you, Jay Bates. The best way to make a picture frame, I found, was to first of all measure and cut one of each of the two sides, and then simply cut the opposite piece to match it. Once you know those two pieces are the same size, and these two pieces are the same size, you know you're going to have a perfect rectangle. I've got the outside sanded as well as the inside sanded, because those will be practically impossible to sand effectively, especially in the corners once it's all glued up. I'm not going to do the front. I'm going to run the entire frame through the drum sander after the glue up is dried to get the front sanded and flat. But what I'm going to do now, while I do my laundry, I don't know if you notice that noise in the background, is glue these up. Okay, first I did I'm doing a dry fit using my Merle adjustable clamp, otherwise known as my octopus. With something this small, it's behaving very well. Everything looks good. So what I'm going to do now is just loosen this just a bit so that everything has some space. And now I'll glue each joint together and then tighten. Make sure everything's flat and let it dry. I won't bore you with the steps that I took to make the second frame, but just like the larger one, it fits. This one hasn't been sanded yet. This will be for Justin's bachelor's degree, which he received from Penn State University, and this will be for his master's degree, which he will be shortly receiving from Drexel University. You can see them both. Made them both the same style, same material, because they're going to be hung up in the same, probably the same wall in the same office in his house. The way I'm going to finish it will be probably tung oil varnish, a couple of coats of tung oil varnish, and then I'm going to give it a coat of orange beeswax polish. And we're going to use real glass with these, so I am going to go to my local Ace Hardware in Verona, Virginia, and have them cut me 2 pieces. They historically have done it while I waited, so we'll see. Hopefully the glass cutting person will be in the day I show up. Maybe I'll call first. Okay, the frames are done. They're varnished. I used a tung oil varnish, 3 coats. I also have the mats cut. I cut them myself. And I'm about to head out to a local Ace. And they do glass cutting. So I'm going to get 2 pieces of glass cut for these. What I don't have are the certificates. Hopefully, Hopefully they'll fit. Not the best cut. But luckily the frame will hide that.